Today's SRB2 mod review is BuggieTheBug's Team New, consisting of Sonic New, recent Tails and latest edition Knuckles, but I won't be reviewing them as a team. This is for two reasons. Firstly, you can't play as a team in Record Attack, so I don't have all that much footage for them. More importantly though, is the fact the team mechanic doesn't seem to really work. I'd usually get a few levels into a run, only to start the next level unable to switch and with one character missing and replaced with a duplicate. I think it's to do with how the game respawns them when killed, but as the AI controlling them are as dull as a bag of bricks, it just feels like it punishes you for the computer's mistakes. Therefore, each character review will be pretty condensed, as I want to take a break in May to prepare for exam season, and I won't talk about sprites, because the new versions of Team Sonic are almost completely clones of the old ones. But without further ado, let's begin. Let's start with the leader of Team New, Sonic New. Each character seems to have been designed to fulfill a certain niche, with Sonic New in particular obviously being your speedy platformer. Unlike vanilla Sonic though, Sonic New has shockingly good traversal options for travelling both horizontally and vertically. The biggest addition to New's moveset, and the thing you'll probably start most of your flow states from, is the Bass, where upon pressing Custom 1, you essentially stick to an enemy. From here, you have four options. Release Custom 1 to throw the enemy and destroy them, press Spin to dash, giving you a forward boost of momentum, press Jump to perform a wind jump, launching you up, or press Custom 2 to perform Stasis, which acts identically to its Breath of the Wild inspiration. Usually, you want to use either a dash or a wind jump, and you have plenty of options for maintaining your travel in either plane. While travelling forwards, there are four abilities that you'll want to focus on. Generally, whenever you're running on flat surfaces, I find it's best to simply hold down spin, which activates the bounce spin. You need to start in mid-air to use it, but after that you can bounce off the floor, enemies, water, and even spikes, essentially stopping you from ever having to worry about slowing down. You even have a relatively standard level of control over your movement, and when you do decide to let go, it can combo into two of your other abilities. Pressing spin while grounded will activate one of the two abilities depending on how you're moving at the time. If stationary or moving slowly, you'll perform a quick dash, a low-level spin dash that doesn't require a wind-up time. If moving at a higher speed though, you'll instead use your control roll, which is a little bit less exciting. It's just your standard spin, but with a greater level of control, which really isn't as useful as it sounds. Most areas built for rolling in don't really work now, as what would originally be a small correction in your angle is now more of a full turn, usually just into a wall. Finally, there's a remix of the dash mode called Accelerate, which honestly just doesn't work as well. Instead of simply requiring you to maintain your top speed for a period of time, you now need to do that without using any jumps or spins, with the supposed trade-off being an even higher max speed than the original dash mode. But because of the limitations you have, as well as the fact that the time it takes to appear has seemingly been untouched to compensate, you'll simply never really reach this speed. Sonic New isn't a slouch when travelling vertically either. Returning from a solo incarnation is the Spring Jump, which simply spawns a red spring underneath you to give yourself an extra in-air boost. You also still have access to his other movement options, like the Ceiling, Wall Jump, although it now has been modified to have a time limit before you drop off, which I think is currently a little too strict, and Recurl. What's new here, or at least to me because I think it was technically in the version I covered and I just never used it, is the Psyloop, which functions surprisingly well. Albeit the camera isn't best suited for it, but it functions much the same as Frontiers. Surround your opponent in the light generated by holding Custom 1, then release to launch them in the air to perform follow-up attacks. As this now means launching yourself even higher or forwards, you can reach and maintain some serious height by combining these abilities. Overall, Sonic New is a great first character from Team New, functioning perfectly in his role as the team's all-rounder. He feels great to play in those moments where you're combining abilities together well, switching smoothly between bursts of horizontal speed before clambering up walls and jumping valleys to switch between the most beneficial path. Throw in him some combat potential with the Psyloop mechanics, and he's really got something for almost every occasion. The only real problem I have is how BuggieTheBug has perhaps been a bit quick to make custom abilities where they're not needed, as I really don't see a particular use for the control roll, and Accelerate feels worse than dash mode. The only other thing is how Stasis feels a little undercooked, as for whatever reason, you can only really jump or use the Psyloop on frozen enemies, when you could probably do with being able to use your bass abilities. Tweak these though, and we could have a really high tier character. I'll currently give Sonic New a 7 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this admittedly short video, and ciao.